Hello everyone, my name is Oishiki. At first I would like to say that please kindly subscribe my channel. So today I am going to read Mahabharata part 1. So today's video, that is Mahabharata part 1, I am going to discuss about the topics, that is a dynasty begins, a curse, Hastinapura and Shantanu, Ganga's sons, Devavrata, Satyavati's eldest son, the fisherman's daughter, Satyavati's sons, Amba's war, and Amba reborn. Okay, so now let's begin with our story. A dynasty begins. The dynasty of the Kauravas and the Pandus began long ago with King Puru. King Dushyanta of Hastinapura was a descendant of King Puru. Dushyanta was hunting in the forest when he came upon Shakuntala, the adopted daughter of Kanva Rishi. Shakuntala was the daughter of sage Vishwamitra and Menaka, one of the celestial maidens in the court of Indra, the king of the gods. Menaka had been sent by Indra to disturb the meditation of the great sage with her beauty. She succeeded and the daughter was born to them. Vishwamitra returned to his penance and Menaka left the infant on the banks of river Malini to return to her abode. Kanva Rishi found her there, protected by two Shakuntala birds, and naming her Shakuntala, brought her up as his daughter. Dushyanta married her. Promising to return, he left for his kingdom, giving her a ring with his name on it. A curse. Dusvasa Rishi, famed for a fiery temper, came to visit the ashrama to Kanvana. Shakuntala, lost in thoughts of Dushyanta, and was inattentive to him. The angry sage cursed her that whoever she is thinking of would forget her. She begged the forgiveness, so Durvasa said that he would remember if she showed him something he gave her. On her way to Hastinapura by the ferry, Shakuntala's ring fell into the river and was swallowed by a fish. Due to the sage curse, Dushyanta did not recognize her. So she returned to the ashrama where their son Bharata was born. One day, a fisherman found the ring inside a fish. He took it to the king, who remembered his past. He went to the forest and found Bharata playing with a lion's cub. He brought Shakuntala and Bharata to Hastinapura. Bharata became a great king. The Kauravas and the Pandavas were his descendants. Hastinapura and Shantanu. Hastinapura was the capital of the kingdom where Bharata and his descendants ruled. One of them was King Shantanu. One day, when he was hunting, he saw a beautiful lady beside River Ganga. He fell in love and, introducing himself, told her he wished to marry her. She was Ganga, the river goddess, she said, and would marry him on condition that he would not question anything she did or stop her from doing it. The king Shantanu promised and they were married. They were very happy for some time and a son was born to them. Then Shantanu saw a strange thing. When Ganga took the infant and drowned him in the river, the shocked king was silent, remembering his promise. But he was struck with horror and misery when this happened to 6 or more sons. When she took the 8th boy, he protested. Ganga's sons. When Shantanu broke his promise and stopped Ganga, she told him she would have to return to the river. Then he asked her the reason for her actions. Then Ganga told him about the incident when the 8 Vasus went with their families to the forest. They enraged the great sage Vishistha by stealing his pet cow Nandini from his ashrama. He cursed the Vasus to be born as human beings, but the one who stole Nandini would have to live in the world of man for a long time. Frightened of the curse, the Vasus requested Ganga, the river goddess, to marry a suitable man and be their mother. As soon as they were born, she must throw them into the river, thus freeing them from the curse. Ganga had sent 7 of them to their original home. When Shantanu stopped her, Ganga disappeared with the 8th child. Devavrata. Many years passed. Shantanu was very sad because he lost Ganga and all his sons. One day he found a handsome youth by the riverside. The boy was playing, shooting arrows to build a dam across the river. Shantanu was quite fascinated with the boy's skills. As he watched, Ganga emerged from the river and told him the boy was their 8th son. Devavrata. She had brought him up, placing him in the care of the learned gurus like Vashistha and Shukracharya. He was learned in the Vedas and Vedanta and skilled in the art of war. His gurus had also made him an expert in statecraft. King Shantanu was delighted to have his son back. Now he would be able to have a suitable successor to his throne. He took Devavrata to a palace, looking forward to the day he would become the crown prince. Satyavati's eldest son. Satyavati was the beautiful daughter of the chief fisherman. She had a very special fragrance which people could smell from a long distance away. She was a Gandharva's daughter born through a fish. Therefore, when she was born, she smelled like a fish. As she grew up, she used to ferry passengers across the river in her father's boat. He fell in love with her beauty, the sage Parashar. She was afraid that Parashar would curse her if she rejected him. So she kept quiet. In return, the sage Parashar gave her the blessing of the special fragrance. Her eldest son, Visaya, became a very learned sage, like his father Parashar. Visaya gave her a promise that whenever she thought of him, he would come to her for whatever service she needed. It was a promise he kept all through her life and later to his sons and grandsons too. The fisherman's daughter. King Santanu lived happily for many years. Then one day he was drawn to the banks of the Yamuna by a sweet fragrance. It came from Satyavati, the beautiful daughter of the chief fisherman, because of a bone from a sage. Shantanu wanted to marry her. The chief fisherman agreed, but on one condition, that her son would succeed Shantanu as the king. How could Shantanu ignore the claim of Devavrata, who was his eldest son? He returned sadly to the palace. Devavrata asked him what had made him so sad. But the king would not say why he was unhappy. Devavrata realized something must have happened when his father went out. So he found out the truth from the chief fisherman, and there he took a vow to remain unmarried all his life, and that Satyavati's son would be the next king. The heaven showered flowers on him and named him Vishma. Satyavati's sons. Vishma led Satyavati to Hastinapura, where she married King Santanu. They had two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Chitrangada succeeded Santanu, but unfortunately he was killed in a battle with a Gandharva. He died childless, so Vichitravirya was crowned the king of Hastinapura. Vichitravirya was a minor. Therefore, Vishma guided him and ruled as his regent till he grew up. When he was old enough, Vishma looked for a suitable wife for him. He heard that the king of Kasi was holding a Swayamvara, as was the custom for his daughters Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika. He went to seek his hands for Vichitravirya. Many mocked him for being old. He challenged the other suitors to a contest on behalf of his brother and won the hands of the princess. But Amba refused to go with Vishma because she had chosen silver already. So the other two princes married Vichitravirya. Amba's war. Bhishma sent Amba with all honor to Salva, since she had chosen him as her husband. But Salva said that he had been defeated by Bhishma in the contest for Amba's hand, so he refused to marry Amba. Hurt and angry, Amba went to Bhishma, who asked Vichitravirya to marry her. But he refused because she loved Salva already. Then she asked Bhishma to marry her. He could not do so because of his vow. She prayed to Lord Kartikeya, who gave her an ever-fresh garland. Whoever wore it would be Bhishma's deadliest enemy. No one wanted to help her because everyone feared the powerful Bhishma. So she hung the garland on the gate of King Drupada's palace. She performed great penance till Lord Shiva granted her a boon. In her next life, she would kill Bhishma. Amba gave up her body. She was reborn as Drupada's child, Shikhandan, who would slay Bhishma. Amba reborn. Amba was born as the daughter of King Drupada of Panchala. One day, she saw the garland of ever-fresh flowers hung on the palace gate. No one had dared to put it on all these years. Amba wore it. Drupada was terrified that her action would bring Bhishma there in anger. So he exiled her to the forest. She performed hard penance there and successfully changed her form into that of a man. She became Sikhandan, a warrior. During the war at Kurukshetra, Bhishma knew that Sikhandan would kill him. But his code of conduct did not allow him to attack a woman. He felt that Sikhandan had become a man now. Bhishma could not attack her. Thus, it was that during the great war at Kurukshetra, Sikhandan, with the help of Arjuna, succeeded in killing Bhishma, and Amba kept her vow. Okay, so our story ends here. In my next video, I am going to read Mahabharata part 2. If you liked my today's video, then please like and comment my video. And also subscribe my channel to listen to more such stories. And also to follow all my videos regularly. And don't forget to click on the bell icon. Thank you.